Greetings fellow tank commanders. In this video I'm going to be showing you a game that I played in the T14. This is an American Tier 5 premium heavy tank with preferential matchmaking. The game I'm playing is a standard battle on Ruinberg Winter with Tier 5 as the top tier and no artillery. For this game my tank is equipped with a gun rammer, enhanced gun laying drive, and coated optics. I'm using my most experienced American crew, which has 18 crew skills and perks. Now, an important thing to note about this game is that there's only 2 Tier 5 tanks on each team, 1 heavy tank and 1 medium tank. Because there aren't too many tough targets in this game, I've decided to play my T14 quite aggressively, since this is really some of the best matchmaking I could possibly ask for with this tank. Usually I'll play this tank a little more on the cautious side because it does get worn down quite quickly by high pen guns, but there's really only one tank on the enemy team that I'm particularly worried about with that, and that is the Churchill 3. My initial plan was to hold a position deeper into the city, but when I saw that large chain of Tier 3s heading down the center street, I headed straight for them in hopes of making a big impact early in the game. And now the rampage has begun. I'm really happy that I changed my battle plan and headed down the middle road because it gave me some really easy targets here. And now already 4 tanks are down and I've destroyed 3 of them. Unfortunately, the enemy team has already been making similar progress on my teammates. And my decision to charge those Tier 3s really worked in my favor, because now a second wave of enemies is coming from deeper into the city, and they're doing exactly what my initial plan was. And so this way I'm only having to fight one wave at a time. I got a couple unlucky shots here on the enemy sentinel, but fortunately he's not able to do any damage to me, and the damage I take from the Tier 3 that flanked me is minimal. But from the mini-map I can see that a heavy tank is approaching me, and the only one in the game is the Churchill 3. There's no time for rest here. I just have to destroy one enemy and move on to the next. And now that raises my kill total up to 5. Just in time, the Churchill 3 has arrived. I was trying to angle my armor here, but the Churchill 3 was still able to get through. And this is just a battle of auto-lock shots here, and the only thing I can really worry about is making sure my armor is well angled. And now the Churchill 3's engine is destroyed, which leaves his side painfully exposed. This Churchill 3 made a huge mistake by trying to flank around me, because if we had been dueling based on his front armor, I think he probably would have won, simply because the Churchill 3 is a little more reliable at penetrating frontal heavy tank armor than the T14. The enemy keeps coming at me just a few at a time here. There's a lone tank destroyer which I can now easily take out. And this has just been an insane brawl. I'm up to 7 enemies destroyed in just over 3 minutes. At this point I was quite shocked that I survived all that, and I took a second to assess the tactical situation, and I saw the enemy medium tank back at the base, and that was the highest priority target because he's the last Tier 5 on the enemy team. This Tier 5 medium made himself a real easy target, sitting right out in the open, and I get quite lucky here because I'm able to immobilize him, and that's just enough for me to destroy him before he can get to cover. Since my teammates were able to clean up those other few tanks, all that's left is a Tier 3 medium. This enemy ended up being AFK, which took the fun out of the hunt, but after an intense brawl like that, I was okay with shooting at an enemy that wasn't trying to kill me. Now let's check the post-game stats and see how I did in that short and crazy game. For this game, I earned 660,000 silver. That's with 500,000 from the Turkey Shoot 3 op, 7,500 from the Battlefield Bravo op, and a 2x multiplier from the Heroes Way op. I also earned 9,945 experience with a 3x multiplier. With all those ops activated, this ended up being a very lucrative game for me. In this game I dealt 2,330 damage, assisted with 20 damage, and destroyed 9 enemies while blocking 1,085 damage. That's some crazy offensive impact considering that 8 of the enemies destroyed and 2,233 of the damage was in the first 4 minutes of the game. This earned me High Caliber, a Mastery Badge Ace Tanker, Steel Wall, Top Gun for destroying 6 enemies, and a Radley Walters for destroying 9. This also helped bump up my damage standing quite a bit, and just a few games after this I managed to get my 3rd mark of excellence. I love having so many cool medals after such a fun game. I placed at the top of my team, earning a base XP of 1,950. It's fun to note that I dealt almost 3 times more damage than the second highest damage dealer in the game, which was the enemy Stug 3G, and over 3 times the base XP of the Matilda who came second on my team. I managed to hit 31 of my 35 shots and penetrate 25 of those. That is above average reliability for the T14, but I was doing a lot of close quarters fighting with tier 3s, so this is to be expected. In terms of crew and module damage, I destroyed the engine in the T46, damaged the ammunition in the Sav M43, injured the driver in the Sentinel, and finally destroyed the engine and injured the gunner in the Churchill 3. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing that awesome rampage with the T14. Make sure when you have such a great advantage like this, being one of the few top tier tanks in the game, that you look for those opportunities to take full advantage of your tank's offensive potential. And if you're heavily outnumbered like I was there, just focus on methodically destroying one tank at a time and try to focus down the high priority targets first. And of course, just hope that they only come at you 1 or 2 at a time. Stay tuned for more awesome World of Tanks videos.